Right, this is a walk around video for a Honda CR-V. This is a 2-litre EX automatic car, and it's the later version, 62 plate, 2013 model, although registered 2012. The car's finished in what is probably the most popular colour currently, which is passion orange, or passion red I should call it these days, with a full black leather interior. Just 43,000 miles on this car, and the car's in absolutely beautiful condition, which I'll go around for you. I always have the engines running during these videos, so you'll hear the engine fan cutting in and out because it's been running for some time now, which is absolutely normal. Lights, lenses, all perfect, intact, no cracks, condensation or otherwise. Front bumper's very, very clean and tidy. Can't see any obvious marks, cut from a couple of suicidal flies. And then bonnet of the car, again, very, very, very clean indeed. You can't see any obvious stone chips on there. If there is one, it's very small indeed. Come to the near side of the car, bear with me a second. Sorry, front window was down, so it made it look a bit silly. But just go down the panel work there. Really, really clean. I mean, it's very, I can hardly see mark. There's one tiny little dimple dent, which I'll point out to you, but it is minuscule. Front rings absolutely clean as a whistle. Front alloy very good, just a tiniest little bit of curbing at the top there, but hardly worth mentioning really. But the panel works really, really, really clean. If I come back here at this angle, again you see just how nice and crisp and clean that is. But the one I did find, I don't know whether you can actually see it on the video, I'll try and hunt to find it again, but just there, that is, I mean, it is very small, but I did see it, so I'm pointing it out. Back of the car again, all in very, very nice order. Very, very, I mean, it is a used car, so there'll be the odd tiny little mark somewhere, but you're going to have to really hunt to find it. Then off side of the vehicle, I can't see any indentations on this side at all, and it's as clean and crisp as you'd ever want to see. Rear alloy again, really nice, and panel work is very, very, very clean and tidy. They look absolutely fantastic in this colour, even on kind of what is a relatively dull day today, and they really do look fantastic when the sun's out. And fine alloy there as well, again all in beautiful order. So looking at a car externally, that's an absolutely fantastic condition. So coming into the boot area of the car, I mean, we are talking an absolutely massive boot on the CR-Vs. Obviously got a 60/40 fold in the rear seats, which I'll show just how easy that is to do in a second. But it's all in really, really lovely condition back here. All the fabrics are really good. Plastics are all really nice, only a couple of really light marks, and there's hardly anything of any note. You see there you've got power outlet, so inflating anything or otherwise. And under here, we've got a space saver wheel, so at least you do get a wheel, not an inflation kit. Jack and tools are all intact and in situ. To put the seats down, really lovely design. Just pull the lever here, headrest goes down, and it just soft folds down. It's really clever indeed, and exactly the same on that one there. Goes down, and you end up with what is an absolutely cavernous boot area. So I nearly walked away without showing you the electric tailgate, of course. So just to show you it works, just press the button there, walk away so it doesn't walk me on the head, and then down she goes. Works absolutely perfectly. You can do that on the button there, or you can do it with the key, or there's a button in the car as well. Coming to the back of the car now, rear offside door card, looks as new in all honesty. There's a full set of mats throughout the car, the original Honda ones as well from what I can see. Back of the front seats, all in very, very nice order. That's not always a given, as people know who've had CR-Vs, kids' feet can sort of play havoc with them. And door card on the near side there, again absolutely perfect. And the leather seats in the back look pretty much as new in all honesty, and quite an enormous amount of legroom that they offer as well. Come to the front now, driver's door card, as with the others, absolutely unmarked in all honesty. Obviously you can see electric wing mirrors and electric windows buttons there. Memory settings for the electric seats as well. Sill area and driver's footwell area all in lovely condition. As I said, there is a full set of mats in these, they are Honda. Electric seat there, and leather work, all absolutely stunning condition. Really, really is. Just go to the passenger one here. Again, excuse my keys. absolutely glorious condition. And if I just look up here, you've got this huge one-piece panoramic roof on the CRVs, and at the flick of a switch, press the button and it closes back over. So I sat in the car now, engine's running as it has been all the way through the video, just to show you passenger door card, as with the others, in as new condition. Really beautiful. Just to show you down there, full owner's manual pack incorporating navigation and car manual, plus the all-important locking wheel nut key. Fabulous dashboard in absolutely fabulous condition as well. Obviously we've got the sat-nav as part of standard equipment with these EX models. You see the sat-nav working perfectly. Pop it into reverse, and a lovely clear parking camera on it as well. You still also get front and rear parking sensors on the car, which work perfectly on the car. Dual zone climate control, all the switches, all the buttons work with a wonderful quality actuation. And then you see there you got your heated seats, which work absolutely perfectly. I hope we don't need to use those for a few months, but they're all in full working order. Loads of cubby holes in the CRVs, press button there. You've got effectively 3 cup holders, slightly bizarre. And then in the center console here, you've got your USB video and power outlet there as well. So, you know, and a huge stowage bin. Coming across the main binnacle, just a pan in there, 43,141 miles, engine's running, no warning lights on the car. Auto lights, auto wipers on the vehicle, you've got your paddles there for if you want to use the gearbox manually, and then multifunction steering wheel with all sorts of functions, and all of them working absolutely beautifully. But the car is in fabulous, fabulous order, it really, really is. So finally just come under the engine bay, as you'd expect from Honda, beautifully laid out and in fantastic condition. Car's just been serviced, had its engine oil and filter changed, but these are really, really tough engines. Incidentally, they always sound much noisier on the videos than they do when you're physically stood here, just by dint of the microphone. What will follow this video will be a road test of this very car. Alright, this is a quick road test for a Honda CR-V. This is the 2-litre EX automatic. This particular car is registered EX62HMG. The mileage at the start of this brief road test is, sorry, just put the steering wheel around the wrong way, 43,133 miles. The reason for the road tests, as I say in all of my videos, is very simple. The fact is, the internet means that it's made it more accessible and easier to search cars from much further afield, so you can really narrow down exactly what you're after. But by dint of that, people are willing to travel a lot further now to come and see cars, which is fine, but as I've found to my cost personally, it can be hugely frustrating when you go and see a car and it's got a fault in the drive of the vehicle or otherwise that you haven't been told about prior to going to see it. So that's why we do the videos. I don't pull any punches on the videos. If there's something wrong with the car, I do tell you. I don't hold back on it, and I've done that on plenty of my previous videos. So if there's nothing mentioned on this one, it doesn't mean that I've kind of skirted around or over the issue. It just means that there was nothing on the car to report back, and generally there isn't. We do try and buy some very nice cars, but occasionally there's something we pick up on, which means that we will attend to it later, mechanically or otherwise. Also worth pointing out, the videos are done on exactly the same road test route as any prospective buyer will go on. The reason for that is that I want you to feel what I'm feeling, so you know, if I pick up on anything, you know, hopefully you can relate to that when you come and see and drive the car. So starting with the engine of the vehicle, you know, we're talking about a classic Honda engine, 2-litre VTEC engine, very, very, very sweet revving, and this one's a wonderful example of a truly brilliant engine. You know, they've got pretty much everything going for them. You know, its longevity and reliability is in a different stratosphere to most other cars in its class. I mean, they are brilliantly, brilliantly reliable and long-lasting engines. But they're also lovely in operation. They're sweet and eager to rev, as only Honda tend to really be. Barring a few competitors' examples. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. That's not entirely true. You know, but it's a wonderful unit, and it's beautifully and perfectly matched to the gearbox. I mean, the engine on the car, utterly faultless, and it really is. It's just been driven well over 100 miles to us by our delivery company, and he was eulogising about the car, absolutely full of it. He loved the car. It's running at a third on its temperature gauge, which is exactly where it should be when it's up to maximum operating temperature. And there's no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Engine then feeds through into the automatic gearbox. Very typical Honda. Very smooth shifting and quite quick shifting for an auto box with a normal torque converter inside it. None of this scary DSG stuff in these ones. It's a very tough, strong gearbox. What you should be looking for on any gearbox is do what I call a static test. Just make sure it's nice and warm and hot when you go and see it, or after you've driven it, but then just pop it into neutral, select drive or reverse or both, and then just see if there's any delays or any thuds when it engages. And there shouldn't be. I mean, they should be tight as a drum, and this one is exactly as it should be. But it's very well matched to the engine of the car. The engine, it really is. You're not struggling for power. They also have what they call grade logic built into the software of the gearboxes, and that kind of prevents a lot of hunting up and down the gears when it goes up the hills, which can be quite a frustrating thing. It also has these paddles on the steering wheel, which are not a gimmick. They're a really good idea. The problem with automatics, of course, is that they always want to operate at their most efficient, and that's a fantastic idea because it means you've got, encourages very economic driving, but it can be absolutely terrifying, of course, when you put your foot down, kick down to overtake something, and then halfway around overtake it decides, actually, I want to save you a bit of fuel, I'll change up, and you're left floundering on the outside. So what this gives you the option to use it, do a manual gear change, so you've got minus on this side, plus on this side. So if you imagine for a second I'm going to overtake a tractor or a lorry in front, and it's tootling along probably in 5th gear now, I'll probably want to drop down a couple of gears, so I just tap it there you are, 3rd gear, put my foot down to overtake, it's not changing up, now 4th, 5th, and I've done it all myself, and it's just a really nice system, and it works really very well. After a few seconds it just defaults back to the automatic gearbox, and that's it, you just leave it well alone. But it's all working absolutely perfectly. Steering of the car tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations coming back through the steering wheel at any speed that I've driven it so far, and I'm now up to the legal limit. Just check that for you. Check the cruise control functioning as it should, which it certainly is. They always do, but it's nice to check it. But the steering feels nice and taut. There's no slack in it at all. It just feels, literally as if new. It's got that real tightness about it, which I love. But it's a nice quick steering on these CRVs, much more so than the previous generation. So direction changes allied to a much flatter cornering stance on these cars now means that you get less lurch, especially on tight corners like this. It's a much more manoeuvrable car without kind of sort of pitching and jumping in. I mean, the old one was really good by comparison to most, but you still couldn't defy physics. This one seems to manage it rather well. Suspension of the car, really well judged. They've got rid of some of that lean, but that normally means you end up with a hard ride because they have to stiffen up the shocks. But they've got some sort of clever shocks on these cars now, and the suspension setup is such that it offers a genuinely very comfortable ride. Deals with kind of the smaller imperfections better than the last generation, and that's noticeably so as well. But there's no wear in it. I can't feel anything, and what I'm looking for is if I go over a bump, you'll hear it going over a bump, which is quite normal, you should hear it, but what I'm listening out for is those secondary noises, those kind of noises which you sometimes get on cars, and that's nearly always things like anti-roll bar links, drop links, or a bit of strut movement. Not necessarily unsafe, but it could be a little bit kind of it just makes the car feel a little bit older before its time. But all in, you know, very, very, very fine order. Brakes on the car, lovely solid brake pedal on the car. It just pulls up straight and true. There's no pulling to one side or the other. There's no pulsing on the brake pedal. There's no vibration there at all. It's all in, you know, very, very, very good order. And the car's actually going to go into the workshops this afternoon for a pre-delivery inspection and an engine service. But it all feels, and you know, certainly for the driver's seat, absolutely spot on. It really does. Also very quiet, so you know, it's just that all the seals, the windscreen, sunroof, door seals are all in very, very good order as well. Looking inside the car, again, it's not been cleaned, not yet at least anyway. It's not going to take very long because it's very, very, very clean in here. They are quite brilliantly built cars as well. It has a, you know, a solidity which, you know, was usually a domain of, you know, just the German marques. But what it has is, you know, this is why we kind of call real world build quality. So a few years down the line, you know, it's still in really, really nice condition in here. All the surfaces are very, very good indeed. Any marks are kind of, you know, very small, and certainly in keeping with the age and mileage of the car. But it, you know, really is a lovely place to sit. They've got some nice texturing on the plastics, and as I've said on previous ones of these CRVs, they've clearly nicked a lot of their kind of inspiration from BMW, which is no bad thing in terms of styling. So the kind of the silver trim and the black texture in there is very reminiscent of a BMW. You know, fortunately they've left other things that BMW do so badly well alone. It's a very tough and reliable car, these. EX specifications, so you're looking at big spec. You can see the sat nav there, fully functional, and as you know from the previous video, pop it in reverse and that goes into a nice camera as well. But everything works perfectly. You know, it's a lovely warm day today, 22 degrees. Summer's here at long last. But you've got lovely air conditioning pumping out lovely cold air as well. Dashboard on the vehicle, everything works. In fact, every switch works up. I've tried everything now, and it all works absolutely perfectly. As you'd certainly hope from a Honda. But it's just such a lovely place to sit and drive a car. You know, might as well cut to the chase. I can't find anything wrong with this car. It's absolutely spot on. But let me just check one thing, because it's a real pet hate of mine, and that's the wiper blades. See if they're as they should be. Just get rid of the original smear. No, they're absolutely fine actually. But the car drives wonderfully well. Of course, they use what they call intelligent four-wheel drive on these Hondas. It's a brilliant system. Honda worked out very quickly that most people driving this type of car would never use the four-wheel drive, or very infrequently. So it runs in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, the most efficient way, 99.9% of the time. Only if it needs to go into four-wheel drive will it do so. It'll do it for you automatically. You just get the sensation of suddenly the front wheel spinning and then grip and go. It's just very clever, absolutely bomb-proof mechanically. We've never touched one out of the many hundreds we've sold. But what's wonderful about it is it's just so efficient. It means it's clearly it's not running in permanent four-wheel drive. It's not chewing up tyres. It's not kind of eating prop shafts, drive shafts. And adding, you know, fuel costs as well. It's, you know, it really is a clever system. But that concludes the video really. I can't find anything on the car that merits mentioning at all. It's a wonderful car in wonderful condition. If you've got any questions, please do contact us.